Welcome to ACA Executive Summit. We are here today with David Elyachar of Big Bob's. Good to see you again.
Nice seeing you. That was great. You know, it took my mother 3 years learning how to say my last name
Absolutely,
right.
absolutely. It's been a pleasure getting to know David today. And so, David, let's jump right in. Tell us the story of Big Bob's.
The story of Big Bob's. Well, the story of Big Bob's starts before Big Bob.
Okay.
I graduated from Ithaca College in 1970, 93 out of a class of 95 in phys ed. One is very good. Two's pretty good. Three's okay. 93 out of 95, why even bother going to college? My teachers told me I had ADD. I told them they're wrong. I got all D's. Thank you. So 6 weeks later, I had a full scholarship to Northwestern, and so I was coaching football at Northwestern. Left, went to the University of Pittsburgh, coached football at the University of Pittsburgh for a couple of years. We won a national championship, one of the great highlights of my life. My father calls me up and he says, son, things are going dastardly bad at home, and I moved to Sarasota, Florida to help my dad out. Waited tables 7 days a week, 3 meals a day for about 9 months. Gave my dad all the tip money. I got to keep the 90 cents an hour they paid for salary. Times turned, my dad was back on his feet and he says, now you can come work for me. And I said, that's great. I want you to sharpen my pencils. This is how I want my pencils sharpened, and you're not doing it right. So I said, Pop, I love you, but I can't work like this anymore. Right. So he got me a job selling retail flooring in 1977 in Sarasota, Florida.
Okay.
Moved to New York City, started working retail in New York City, flooring. Was there for about 3 years, got a job as a mill rep. They shipped me out to California, wrote home, told my dad that my territory was Mojave Desert, Death Valley, and Fresno, California. Boss calls me up about 9 months later and says, we want to transfer you to Kansas City. I said, fantastic, I'm being promoted. And he says, no, it's not a promotion. I said, substantial pay increase perhaps. And he says, no extra money. And I said, what if I don't want to move to Kansas City?
Yeah.
He said, we'll give you the finest letter of recommendation we can. So I moved to Kansas City.
And what year was that?
82.
82, okay.
Met a young lady on a blind date. First week I was in town. We got engaged, we bought a house, got married. I didn't like the color of the carpet in the house. So I called up the manufacturer I was working for. And by the way, I was a mill rep working the whole state of Kansas and half the state of Missouri as a floor covering mill rep. And I said, what do you got that's discontinued or dropped that I can put in my house? And we found a piece of carpet, negotiated out the price. And I started thinking, how can I get rid of this old carpet without paying too much money and maybe offset some of the cost of the new carpet? So I put a 3-line classified in the Kansas City Star on a Sunday, selling my used carpet out of the house. By 10 o'clock Sunday morning, 6 people had called, asked for directions, and the carpet sold.
Wow.
Wow. I got 50 more phone calls Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on that 3-line classified.
Wow.
Now, today, if I took out a full-page ad in the Kansas City Star, I don't think I can get 50 people to respond to it.
It's true.
Right? I mean, this was a very powerful moment. So the light bulb goes off in the head. I pick up the yellow pages. I look through the yellow pages. There's 185 phone numbers under carpet. No listing for used. There's 45 used furniture and appliance dealers. I called them. They don't sell used carpet. Nine days after that Sunday, I leased a space and opened up a company called Big Bob's Used Carpet Shop.
Wow.
Now, a lot of people ask me, why Big Bob's? My name is David. So I came up with Big Bob's. Excuse me while I do this.
You're good.
I'm good. Thank you. So I came up with this, and this is our first logo. Does that show? There it goes. So it's Big Bob's Used Carpet Shops. Shop. Bucks. B-U-C-S. Big Bucks. I was moonlighting for 9 months. I didn't want my boss to know that I was still a mill rep at the same time I was opening up a retail store. And I moonlighted for 9 months until I opened up my second store.
Okay.
And the second year I was in business, we did $536,000 out of one store and about $450,000 out of the other store at a 86% gross profit margin.
Okay.
Now that's not an 86% markup, that's
Right.
an 86% gross profit margin. That means for every dollar we sold, cost of goods was 14 cents.
Okay.
This is unheard of in any type of business model that had ever existed. So somebody's cutting grass. So our business just took off and flourished. And as we grew, and we opened up 4 or 5 stores locally, we started to get interest from around the country and noticed that we were doing something different than everybody else in the country was doing. And so I explored and then executed a licensing plan where I would license the name Big Bob's around the country.
Okay.
Well, after that turned into a profit center, we switched over from licensing to full franchising. And I sold my franchise company, or 70% of the franchise company, in January of 2016. And we have stores coast to coast, border to border, Boston to Anchorage, Minneapolis to Corpus. And so we've been very successful. We've been blessed with Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award. We've been, or finalist. We've been blessed with Blue Chip Initiative by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. And we've been most honored by the Small Business of the Year from the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce, where thousands of people have applied for it. We were lucky enough to win it once. And so time marches on. I've worked with my brother. I've been able to successfully recruit and bring my 2 sons into the business. And I am living the American dream.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So you shared a lot of great information right there. But to get to know the man a little bit more,
Okay.
if that's all right, or did you have anything else? Is there?
Yeah, I did forget something.
Yeah.
All right.
Go ahead.
I want to thank the ACA. I want to thank Chris. I want to thank Martin. And I want to thank Tim for allowing me this opportunity to share my story, which is just part of what is happening here, which is promote business. And I'm glad and thrilled to be part of it.
Well, we're glad you're here today, really. I mean, there's just so much to pull from that story, and I'm going to see if we can try to come back around again and pull some more gems from
All right.
from you, David. Tell me, what I'm curious about, what was sort of your greatest sources of inspiration as far as either in business or in life for you, that kind of, you looked at their life and you're like, you know what, I just kind of really inspired me to go higher?
When I moved back to Sarasota, my dad pulls me out and he says, so what do you want to be when you grow up? You're no longer going to be a football coach. I've taken care of that and sabotaged that for you. So what else do you want to be?
Okay.
I said, I want to be an entrepreneur. He says, an entrepreneur? What's an entrepreneur? This is 77.
Yeah.
He says, what do you think an entrepreneur is? You're either a school teacher or a ditch digger or a shoe salesman. You know, there's no such thing as an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I said, an entrepreneur is someone who creates a business in a void that never existed before. There's 2 models. You either find a void and fill it,
Right.
or create the void. And so we went out and we created a void. There had never been a used carpet shop in America before that had gone full-fledged retail as a traditional retail center.
Sure.
And we have changed, by the way. We started out at used carpet.
Okay.
We moved to, we haven't sold used carpet since '92. We went to cheap carpet, and now we are selling value proposition flooring. And so
What does that mean, value proposition flooring?
it's the same thing. It's just different words because the consumer today doesn't want used carpet.
Sure.
They don't want cheap carpet. They want value flooring.
Gotcha.
And
Makes sense.
look, women today, our customers are basically the exact same.
Yeah,
What happened in '07 is the whole world got turned upside down.
it did.
Prior to '07, we think that a guy comes home from work and a wife comes home from work together, and they're making under $100,000 a year combined income. And she says, she makes some hamburgers and some baked potatoes and a piece of apple pie. And after dinner, a glass of beer. After dinner, she says, sweetheart, we need some new flooring. And he says, not gonna happen. And she says, but sweetheart, we need new flooring. And he says, it's not gonna happen. And she says, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Some things never change. And he says, okay, I'll pick the price, you pick the color.
Okay.
Where in more expensive homes, he'd come home from work, she'd have the table set out, she said, we need new flooring, and he goes, okay. And he was not involved at all. So what happened in '07 is the woman took total control, is now making almost all the buying decisions. He doesn't get to buy a shotgun. He doesn't get to go hunting with his buddies. He has to play less golf. She is in total control of the pocketbook and the purse. And a woman consumer is different. It's different to attract a woman consumer than it is a couple or a man consumer. So we had to change everything to be more women friendly. We changed our showrooms. We put better lighting, better flooring, better merchandising. We advertised slightly different. We did everything we could to stay on top of the wave, because if you're not on top of the wave's on top of you, and it's a constant battle to change your business based on the times. And we recognized that after '07 and everything collapsed, the women were in total control, and we had to change our model. The women do not want to buy cheap flooring. They want to buy a value flooring.
Right.
Now, it could be the exact same piece of carpet. It could be the exact same color, but she doesn't want cheap. Women today will walk into their favorite grocery store, and if they got to take a potty break, they walk in the bathroom. If that bathroom is not immaculate, she's going to leave her cart there, walk out into the parking lot, and never go back. She is a much more demanding consumer than we faced in the first 25 years of business. And we've had to adjust how we do business to be successful with them.
You know, it's very powerful. We were talking in the green room back there. I'll call it the green room.
Thanks.
We talked about how you have you're cut from a unique cloth where you have the ability to kind of see what's coming, those trends into the future. And as far as that's how you've kind of made decisions with Big Bob. So with '07, did you see that coming and then you adjusted accordingly, or was it? Tell us a little bit about that and how that would apply, perhaps with our audience members wanting to implement into their own business, how to forecast and to adjust your business model along the way.
In December '07, we have a national convention for all our members nationwide. And in December '07, I addressed them and said, there is a dark hole out there. And in this dark black hole is the death spiral.
Interesting.
No one will see it coming. There's no path, there's no exit signs, there's nothing to, and if you step in this death spiral, you're going to be out of business. And prepare yourself for it. Save money. Stop making expansion plans. Gather your acorns, because it's coming, and I don't know how to stop it.
Okay.
I believed, and I said at that time, that radio is dying, newspapers are dying, yellow pages are dead, television is still going to work, but the only ways to gain more customers is going to be through this new thing called computers, somehow. Understand, Chris?
Yes.
Geek is Greek. To me.
Geek is Greek. I got to write that down.
There you go. Geek is Greek. So
that's good.
I thought that network groups were going to be the least expensive way to acquire customers and get your branding name out there.
Okay.
So I offered all my members December '07, a free pass. I'll pay for their membership into a network group.
Okay.
I anticipated this happening. By the way, from '07 to '14, 40% of all floor covering retailers went out of business.
Wow.
40%.
Because why? What happened?
It was a combination of builders. It was builders not building. It was people not being able to pay. The economy sucked, and the big boxes came along. And all these things, 40%, 45% of all mom and pop floor covering retailers went out of business. Only about 18% of Big Bob's guys failed. We were better prepared. The value proposition sell fell right into our laps.
Okay.
That's what everybody was looking for, was a value proposition. Neiman and Tiffany's and all these high-end retailers, they're closing stores. Costco and Target, they're opening stores. The consumers today want the value proposition. They're not afraid to spend money. They just want to make sure when they spend their money, they're getting great value.
Right.
They're just a lot more, they're not as concerned about the label as they are about the practicality of their dollar.
Okay. That's awesome. This is good. This is good stuff, right, guys? This is really, really good stuff.
Okay.
I hope you're taking some notes and have your questions.
It's
ready.
all on video. They
It's
don't
all
have
on
to
video.
take-
That's right. They can always on demand, right? So let me ask you this, David. If you were to start over again today, what would you do differently, if anything, than when you began?
In 1983, used carpet worked. It would never work today.
Okay.
We were a business of the time. We survived for 30 plus years because we keep reinventing ourselves. What we look like today
Yes.
is going to be obsolete 10 years from now.
Right.
I'm not sure what the look is going to be 10 years from now, but you have to be flexible enough
That's good.
to be able to recognize it when it comes, and once again, stay on top of the wave. It takes a lot of work, rather than
Is
letting
that a
the
ditty witty, by the
No,
way?
not
No?
yet.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Rather than let the wave get on top of you.
Okay. Okay, good. Speaking of ditty witties, let's talk about this. Is it okay? We
Absolutely,
shift it?
sure.
Tell us what a ditty witty is, and just let us tell us a little more about that.
Through conversation, I've said a lot of things that made me pause and say, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when I said to you, Greek is geek, you stopped to write it down.
Yeah.
So I've stopped and written down 150, 200 things that I've said in conversation. The first one was, I used to be very smart.
I used to be very smart.
And as you get older, you realize, we were all 21, 25 years old. We all thought we were infallible and the smartest guy in the room. And as you get older, you realize the more you know, the less you know. So, and you don't know what you don't know. And there's a humility that comes with age and experience. And so I started writing all these things down, and I got posters and posters and posters of all these little witty ditties. And those, what I call witty ditties.
You going to publish those witty ditties at some
Already
point?
have.
You have?
Sure.
Okay.
I've written a book.
That's right, you have. We're going to get to your book.
Yeah, my book is called
Fantastic.
Wartime Retail, and it was about how business has to change from post-7 to survive here. One of the great questions might be, we changed in 07. I thought this black hole and death spiral, and by the way, I mentioned it 6 times during this convention, and all my members were coming up, Big Bob, stop, you're scaring us.
Right.
And I said, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to. If you're not prepared for this black hole and death spiral, all right, you're going to be out of business. And I thought it was going to be about a 5-year thing, and it looks like it's going to be about 18 years. It might not. It depends who gets elected. It depends on what happens in Congress. But this economic stagnation started in 07, might go another 6-7 years. It's not coming out soon. It's not. We're so far behind we can talk about politics, sex, and religion some other time.
We can do that some other time. No, that's good. That's good. So what would you say has been Big Bob's greatest success as a company? I'm drawing from you it's being flexible and adaptable. That's kind of what I'm hearing is one of the key characteristics. But if there was another critical element to your success and the company's success, what would you say?
Well, the single greatest accomplishment I've ever had in life is being a father.
That's right.
So being able to recruit and seduce and have my children
Seduce. Excellent.
It's a seduction, and have them come into the business has been my single greatest
Finding
accomplishment.
great people to do their job.
They were great people. They got great educations. They have tremendous work ethics and core values. But to be able to get them in so that my leadership style is now step back to see who steps forward.
Sure.
And both my children and my brother and some of the young people we have in management are stepping forward. Repeat the question one more time.
No, you answered. You did great. Heading down, let's continue. What? Let me ask it this way. Talking about greatest success, if what was the greatest challenge? Let me rephrase the question. That you had to overcome in 30 years with Big Bob's. What was your number one greatest obstacle in doing business?
The flood.
The flood.
The flood.
You mean like the flood from Noah's time, or like
No,
what flood?
No, the flood. What year was the flood? 11? No, 11? Yeah, 2011. We have a 55,000 square foot facility in Independence, and we got 18 inches of water through the whole building.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was business-wise, and the insurance company ended up giving us 60 cents on the dollar, which insurance companies, that's what they try to do.
Sure.
And so that was one of our single greatest challenges, how to overcome the
loss of that. Yeah.
brutal.
How did you come back? How did you
Work harder.
Yeah. It's powerful. It's very powerful. He's right.
Work harder, work smarter.
That's right.
And one of the...
Did that put you in a situation to challenge you to how to streamline some more stuff, how to get even sharper? So would you say it was kind of a blessing in disguise that this happened, or was it still...
You take for granted some of your resources when you don't need them.
Sure.
You appreciate them when the flood comes.
What do you enjoy most about life today? What
I got a beautiful fiance. I get to eat steak a couple
What's her
times.
name?
Karina. Hi, Karina. I get to eat steak a couple of times a week.
Okay.
I get to show up every morning and work with my brother and my boys. We don't call them franchisees, we call them proprietors. They are my brothers from another mother. I've made phenomenal relationships throughout the United States that I get to keep in contact with through the business.
Okay.
That's what I look forward to every day.
You just love people, don't you?
You know, I'd rather take a vacation to Timbuktu with the right people than go to paradise with the wrong people. I'm not about things or places. I'm more about people and stimulation.
Right. It's excellent. It's excellent. Okay. Let's see. What's the number one most important piece of advice you can give someone starting out today, either in the floor industry or whatever industry?
I wrote this down because I was hoping that was one of the questions you asked. Be proud of who you are. Be proud of what you do. Be proud of who you work for, and be sure to tell everyone.
Say that again.
Be proud of who you are. Be proud of what you do. Be proud of who you work for, and be sure to tell everyone.
That's good.
One. Number two, the secret of Big Bob's success. Under-promise, over-deliver, exceed expectations every single time. And I'll give you an example.
Okay.
I was at Costco, and they're loading my groceries off the belt into boxes and putting them in my cart. I'm going, wow, they've never done that before. Wow. And all they're doing is taking the groceries, putting them in boxes, and putting them in my cart.
Right.
I asked to see the manager. I said, you just blew me away. You exceeded my expectations. Now, they've set the bar so low that, you know, you got to put your own groceries in the cart, and you got to pull it out to your car, and it takes you 14 trips to take it from the trunk into the house. They've set the bar so low that it was easy for them to exceed expectations. And that's the secret of success, is to under-promise, over-deliver, and exceed expectations.
Excellent. You know, I don't think I've asked you this, but Big Bob, how did you come up with that name? Where did that name come from?
Well, back in 1983, we started with Big Bob's Used Carpet Shop,
Right.
Big Bucks. Now, my name's David.
Okay.
Big ducks don't fly. And my mother-in-law, blessed memory, said, you're lucky your name wasn't Fred.
Fantastic. Okay, let's go.
Aren't you glad you asked?
I'm so glad I asked. I'm so glad I asked. Okay, what characteristics would you say for businesses, the level you've reached, to become a high performer? What are some of the things or skill sets to really, if someone's desire is to get to a place where you've achieved, what does it take? You've mentioned hard work. What else? What else needs to be in there?
You gotta get lucky. I mean, really. I mean, a lot of people said, "Boy, you're so smart, and you know, no wonder you're successful." And I said, "That's not true. 93 out of 95, I wasn't that smart, but you got to work hard, and you got to get lucky." My motivation when I first started this business was fear of failure. If I was going to fail, it wasn't going to be because I didn't work hard enough.
Right.
Once I hit critical mass and I knew I couldn't fail, my motivation became fear of failure. Fear of not fulfilling my potential.
Okay.
So I believe you have to have a motivation every day to get out of work and get out of bed and go to work. And we have such huge potential, and so that's a motivation. And there's different motivation. If you're a single proprietor working for yourself, by yourself, there's a different degree of dedication than a business like ours, brick and mortar with retail salespeople. Our success will always be based on the people we recruit. And we're out recruiting every day. We're looking for people who have a strong work ethic, core values, and can walk and talk, chew gum, and big personalities. And we'll teach them the widget. It's so hard to find people who are willing to give more than they want to take.
Yeah.
And to be successful, you have to be surrounded by people who want to give more than what they get.
Say that again. That was so good. Say that one more time.
I forgot what I said.
So to be successful, you got to be surrounded by
Great quality people who have a work ethic, who have core values, big personalities, represent you. I mean, they have to represent our core values with every single customer. I mean, that's hard to find.
Yeah.
And we've been very successful doing that most recently.
Well, like minds attract, don't they?
I think
You think?
people want to work. If they have great core values, they want to work for a company that has great core values.
Absolutely.
And they get very disappointed when they find out that the company they're working for is not who they say they are, and they just say one thing, but they're not
Follow
what they
through.
right.
Sure.
So we work hard at doing the right things for the right reasons every day, and sometimes you get the bear, and sometimes the bear gets you.
That's right.
But you got to do the right things.
David, there's been an amazing gems here shared today. And I've got one more final question for you as we begin to wind down our interview. If you were to write a book to give only to your family members to read, okay, for generations to come, what would be the title of that book and what would it say? So no one else gets to read it, only your son, your family, for generations, great-grandchildren, got that one book for them. What would you call it? And what would it be?
Knowing that only my family reads it.
That's correct.
The name of the book would be Family First. Bringing up my children, I try to explain to them that when two brothers are fighting each other or they're getting frustrated with their parents,
Yes.
I said, look, you can change who your friends are. You can change a lot of things in this world. There are just so few things that can never be changed. And what can never be changed is who your mother is, who your father is, who your siblings are, who your children are, who your uncles and aunts are. And those things can't be changed. It can't be changed, so learn how to deal with them better. And I'm a big believer in the serenity prayer. And the things that if you can't change the outcome by moving the mountain, don't put any energy into trying to move the mountain. If by moving the mountain you have a chance of getting the outcome you want, then it's worth the energy. But only put the energy where it matters. Don't chase down things that don't count.
That's good. David, thanks for joining us
Chris,
today.
I can't tell you how much I enjoyed it.
Is this okay? Was this good?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy this?
Yeah.
How did he do, everybody? Did he do okay? I think he did fantastic. So with that, thank you for joining us at our monthly ACA Executive Summit with Mr. Big Buck himself. It was a pleasure talking with you.
Chris, I greatly enjoyed
This
it.
is
Thank
great.
you very much.
So fantastic. Lots of jewels, lots of gems, lots of wisdom, and we will be back next time. See you next month.